There's a common thing that I hear from Christians, and they say, what if you're wrong? What if you're wrong about all this, Timmy? What if there really is a God? What if all this is real? You know, I have given that a lot of thought. I really have. I know that surprises many people because they think that my decision to walk away from faith was something flippant, and that's just not the case. Um, I gave it a lot of thought. In fact, the entire 48 years that I spent as a Christian, uh, I took it very serious the entire time. And walking away wasn't easy because how serious I was. I've said this before, but for me, this wasn't just like a little belief that I had. I mean, this was, it was my life. Everything about my life was centered around this message, the Bible and God and Jesus and the whole thing. So, what if I'm wrong? Here's I'm gonna give you several different thoughts here. What if I'm wrong? Well, I'm gonna be honest. I don't feel like I'm wrong at all. You know what I mean? Like I don't doubt that my decision to walk away, um, but like that I am wrong. Now I'm not saying I'm right in all my beliefs and all my perspectives. I'm still journeying through life just like everybody. So I don't claim to have. I've never claimed to have all the answers. Um, I just know what I don't believe anymore. But yeah, what if I'm wrong? Well, there's a couple things. One, I'm living honestly. Okay, I don't believe in sin, but I'm going to use that word for the Christians who have asked me that question. I don't live a sinful life. You know, uh, I'm not doing anything illegal. Um, I'm kind, I'm generous, I'm fair, and all those things. And if 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 this God is a loving, God, and just like I would as a father, how I am towards my kids, there's nothing my kids could do to get me to send them to an eternal hell forever and ever and ever. Um, so even if I'm wrong, I can only tell you just my honest answer. In my case, if I am wrong, I'm living honestly. I don't see any evidence for God. Like there is no evidence for it. There's contradictions galore in the Bible. Things have been changed and edited. I mean, there's just so many things that have led me to understand that the Bible it's a made up thing. It's not real. And by real, I mean it's not like God dictated it. And the Holy Spirit hovered over His word. Like that's all BS. I know that's BS, unless God is just a moron and doesn't actually, wasn't able to do the Bible without the heirs and without the support of slavery and just all the stuff. This video is not for that. I just wanted to address the one question: what if I'm wrong? And if I'm wrong, I would stand before that God and say, hey, listen, I served you faithfully for 48 years. And then when I started investigating and really looking into this, it very much leaned in the way of you not being real. So, like, I don't have an excuse. It wasn't like I just wanted to live a life of sin. Again, despite what some Christians say about people who walk away from faith, that's just what moronic Christians say. That's just ignorance gone to their mouth, is all that is. Christians often walk away from religion because they all of a sudden start realizing it ain't true. That's what like so many I've watched so many deconstruction videos, and there's this common thread that just runs through every video. They're like, yeah, I really started reading the Bible with intellectual honesty, and yeah, this shit's fake. Like this ain't real. And I'm like, yeah, like that's what happened to me. It's like when I really started looking at it, it just became so clear, like so clearly not real. Like just like just read it. Just read it, right? The Bible can't be written by a divine being. Again, just read it. It's just insane. So, that part, I am very sure of my position and what I believe and what I don't believe, very sure of that. But yeah, what if I'm wrong? If I'm wrong, you know, um, it's hard for me a little bit to wrap my brain around that because let me explain. Not that I couldn't be wrong. Freaking Of course I could be wrong about something, many things, right? But when they say that, what they're saying, when someone says, "What if you're wrong?" What they're thinking in their mind is, Timmy, what if you're wrong and you're going to spend eternity in hell? Well, like that's like I can't even wrap my mind around that because I don't believe in hell. And if there is a hell, it's definitely not for people like myself. It'd be more for like a Hitler or a Ted Bundy or you know what I mean? Like when you think about hell, you think about hell would be a place where bad people go, not good, kind, caring, loving Hindus or good, kind, peaceful Buddhists. Which again, as an evangelical Christian, you believe all of those people are going to hell. It's just insane. That is just absolutely just nuts. It is delusional, 100% delusional to walk around on this planet and think that because you've accepted Jesus, that you're going to go to heaven forever and ever and ever. And then this kind, caring, loving Buddhist that's never heard a flea in their life and is a way better person than you, they're going to go straight to hell and burn forever and ever. I mean, come on. It's just so absolutely moronic. So, I struggle with the idea, like, what if I'm wrong? Well, when they ask that, what they're saying is, what if you're wrong and you spend eternity in hell? Well, I guess there's not anything I can fucking do about that if I'm in hell, right? I mean, it's just like, it just is what it is. Then at that point, right? But it's like, I can say that without even maybe what if I am wrong? Like, I don't feel that way. And not only do I not feel that way, thank goodness there's zero evidence for hell. Zero evidence for that. Oh, wait, there's plenty of evidence, Timmy. Zechariah chapter. Yeah, the only evidence that anybody would have is just some obscure scripture or some whatever, or some near-death experience that someone had, that they died on the operating table and then all of a sudden they realized that, oh wow, it's hot down here. You ever notice that the near-death experience is almost always, though, I saw a bright light and I saw Jesus. But you know what else is fascinating? If you really look into these near-death experience things, these stories, they're very curated. Meaning the people that put these books together, they only talk to Christians to get what their story is, which always relates to Jesus. If you talk to a bunch of Hindus about their near-death story, it would be about the Hindu gods. Or a Buddhist would have a near-death experience and see Buddha. I mean, they're always heavily curated. I've had someone ask me, have you read such and such books about near death? Like that proves anything. Like that proves jack shit. That doesn't prove shit at all. That's like, oh yeah, I read the story. It must be true. It was in a book. Um, so yeah, I mean, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong? Well, if I'm wrong, then I'll stand before God and say, listen, you know what? I lived as honest as I possibly could. I spent 48 years, believing in you. And then when I really investigated it, like looked honestly at it, I realized that it wasn't true. And so I stopped believing in you because you didn't give any evidence outside of some squirrely book that was put together by ignorant people in the first century in the Middle East. So, like, it's kind of on you, you know what I'm saying? And in fact, if you'd have been more revealing and have been a bit more involved in the world, and if prayers would have really been a thing that actually worked, you know, then you may have won a few more souls, if you will, to your way if you'd have just been findable, and if you wouldn't have been hiding, and you wouldn't have been all sneaky and weird and mysterious. I mean, come on, right? I mean, things that are true are discoverable. That's just the thing, right? Things that are true are discoverable. God's not discoverable except in your mind. I've done videos already on that, right? God, if you believe in God, is God real? Well, yeah, in the mind of someone that believes he's real, but he's not actually really real, but it's real in their own mind, right? I mean, come on. You know, there's no, you know, it's funny how people will believe in God based upon evidence that's not admissible in any other. Like, you couldn't go into a court of law and go, you know, I know that person did it. Yeah, do you have evidence? I do have evidence. What's your evidence? Well, I just feel like they did it. It's like, oh, oh, you feel like they? Yeah, I had a dream that they did it. You know what I mean? Like, that wouldn't be admissible in court. You couldn't just say, I feel like they really did it. I've experienced it in my heart. You know what I mean? But, you know, when it comes to religion, man, people are like, it's like everything's admissible. You know, things that just like clearly anybody with a thinking brain is like, what? You believe because of you prayed for a parking space and you got it? Okay. I know God is real. You know, yeah, anyway. Yeah, so what if I'm wrong? Well, if I'm wrong, you know, I lived a good life, and I have no fear of standing before any kind of a loving God. You know, if he's our father, you know, I was a son that followed him for 48 years until I realized you ain't real. All right, peace, everybody. Oh, cuss and discuss down below. Like, subscribe. Don't forget, I have a Facebook page, a group. You can't be a Christian and be in it, but it's for everybody else. Agnostics, atheists, those are going through the deconstruction process. Or if you're spiritual, not religious, and you're not fundamental Christian, you can jump in it. It's called Timmy's Deconstruction Community. Hope you join it. It's a bunch of fun. Also, I have a Patreon. It helps me out. I do have a Venmo. It's in the description of my bio on my YouTube page. If you want to support me and show me any kind of love, I'd appreciate it. Peace, everybody.